Hello everyone and welcome to our screencast-o-matic of our final project for Ethics 262. This is Can Machines Be Ethical? Presented by myself, Leah Eversole.
Lexi Norris.
Horan Song.
Thank you for joining us today. The first slide we'd like to present to you today is called Trust, Safety, and Reliability. This is one of the chapters that we had in our textbook that we learned this semester. If you remember, it was chapter 5, which was one of the cases that we did, the Therac case that we did in depth for this class. And I have here reasons we cannot trust machines. This is kind of an overview of what we learned from that chapter, just reiterated again. And from my reading, I found that software and hardware malfunctions are a cause for not being able to trust machines, as well as the machine solves the wrong problem, the computer is misused, there's a miscommunication between the computer or the user, and the computer is used for malice, such as for malicious hacking. And then for reasons we can't trust machines, they are faster at computations, they can improve our everyday lives with efficiency, they are used by the military to keep us safe. And here's a link provided below about information technology being used in our military today. Can computer machines be ethical in their decision making? They are susceptible to hacking and malice, so I would say they cannot be used to be ethical. And as a quote from my research that I did, last week, Microsoft inadvertently revealed the difficulty of creating moral robots. Chatbot Tay, designed to speak like a teenage girl, turned into a Nazi-loving racist after less than 24 hours on Twitter. And this was from interacting with trolls online.
Okay, let me introduce the moral robot. What is a moral robot? It's a machine with that can make decisions for moral questions. And how to build the moral robots? There's two ways to build that. One way is you can build a learning robot and teach them what is ethic, what things is moral, and another thing is type the moral as a code into the robot, and then it will be a complete robot. And what is a moral robot used for? It is using for helping people to make decision, and it will be fast thinking to do the choice.
This is the pros and cons of trusting machines over humans. The pros are feeling secure as far as privacy with personal information and not relying on human error. And the cons are that information can be stolen from many of these websites on robots or on machines, and many scams or viruses take place on these machines.
Trusting human over machines. Sometimes moral robots are unreliable. Because they may misjudge and make a bad choice, and it cause a bad sequence after they make that. And but it does have some advantage. It's help people to make choice faster and make people lives easier, and make people better to making the moral judgments.
And we would like to provide to you a case study that we read about during our research. And this is adapted from the link below. It's a hospital scene. So consider a doctor has a patient that has multiple treatment options and she is on the brink of death. The doctor uses a computer's analysis of the situation to make a decision as to what to do. And the question is it ethical for the machine to be the de facto decision maker? And some things that we considered is that the machine does not have empathy, so he cannot use that to judge the situation. The machine presents information logically. The machine may not have all the information to process, so it might not come up with the best result possible. And we think that the doctor should use another human source before making a final decision. We cannot trust machines fully when it comes to ethical decision making. They don't have the human factor required for those types of decisions. And here's our mind map for the ethical analysis we'd like to share with you today, made on Coggle. So we'll go here. Can we trust machines to be ethical? From an act utilitarianism point of view, we think this can be used to an extent, but it will never trump the human factor of compassion and emotional connection. Machines can be programmed to maximize happiness. However, is this ethical? For example, to take 5 organs from one healthy human to save 5 other people. This would be the most happiness for the most amount of people, but I do not think this would be ethical. There is research being done right now in robot ethics to bring happiness to elderly patients through the use of AI interfaces, and I can see how this would generate happiness through ethical technology. From a Kantianism perspective, machines can be programmed with rules, but they cannot act with goodwill, which is one of the imperatives of the Kantian perspective. Goodwill requires an instinctual, universal human understanding of morality, which computers do not have. And the principle of end in itself that we learned about in our textbook, to follow this principle, one must never merely use another human as a means to an end. Machines cannot follow this principle because, in effect, they were designed to use humans as a means to a data entry end. From the rule utilitarianism, we can give the ethical bot a set of rules to abide by, but there are always going to be exceptions to those rules that the robots can't account for. Machines can be programmed with rules, but they do not have the empathy to know when a rule can be ignored. So our conclusion is that machines, computers, and robots at this point in history cannot be trusted to be ethical. Leave the ethical decision-making up to humans, and the machines will make many other aspects of life easier.
Next is the animated video that we made through PowerPoint. It's going to talk about trusting machines with it's going to show talking about trusting machines with ethics. So this animated video showed that a person wanted the medical records, and the robot thought he could do so through act utilitarianism, making the human happy or doing what the human wanted. And the robot obviously didn't know this, so the boss came in and was like, "What are you doing?" He said, "Act utilitarianism."
So in conclusion, we do not think that computers can be ethical, or they can be programmed to an extent to be ethical, but not as well as humans can be. And this is the references that we had, and we'd like to thank you for watching and listening today. Have a good day. Bye-bye.